Our two minds. A friend was telling me about her divorce, a painful separation. Her husband had fallen in love with a younger woman at work and suddenly announced he was leaving to live with the other woman. Months of bitter wrangling over house, money, and custody of the children followed. Now, some months later, she was saying that her independence was appealing to her, that she was happy to be on her own. I just don't think about him anymore. I really don't care, she said. But as she said it, her eyes momentarily welled up with the tears. That moment of teary eyes could easily pass unnoted. But the empathetic understanding that someone's watering eyes means she is sad despite her words to the contrary is an act of comprehending just as surely as distilling meaning from words on a printed page. One is an act of the emotional mind, the other of the rational mind. In a very real sense, we have two minds, one that thinks and one that feels. These two fundamentally different ways of knowing interact to construct our mental life. 1. The rational mind is the mode of comprehension we are typically conscious of, more prominent in awareness, thoughtful, able to ponder and reflect. But alongside that, there is another system of knowing, impulsive and powerful, if sometimes illogical, the emotional mind. The emotional or rational dichotomy approximates the folk distinction between heart and head. Knowing something is right in your heart is a different order of conviction, somehow a deeper kind of certainty than thinking so with your rational mind. There's a steady gradient in the ratio of rational to emotional cover over the mind. The more intense the feeling, the more dominant the emotional mind becomes, and the more ineffectual the rational. This is an arrangement that seems to stem from eons of evolutionary advantage to having emotions and intuitions guide our instantaneous response in situations where our lives are in peril and we are pausing to think over what to do could cost us our lives. These two minds, the emotional and the rational, operate in tight harmony for the most part, intertwining their very different ways of knowing to guide us through the world. Ordinarily, there is a balance between emotional and rational minds, with emotion feeding into and informing the operations of the rational mind, and the rational mind refining and sometimes vetoing the inputs of the emotions. Still, the emotional and rational minds are semi-independent faculties, each, as we shall see, reflecting the operation of distinct but interconnected circuitry in the brain. In many or most moments, these minds are exquisitely coordinated. Feelings are essential to thought, thought to feeling. But when passion asserts the balance tips, it is the emotional mind that captures the upper hand, swamping the rational mind. The 16th century humanist Erasmus of Rotterdam wrote in a satirical vein of this perennial tension between reason and emotion. Jupiter has bestowed far more passion than reason. You could calculate the ratio as 24:1. He set up two raging tyrants in opposition to reason's solitary power, anger and lust. How far reason can prevail against the combined forces of these two, the common life of man makes quite clear. Reason does the only thing she can and shouts herself hoarse. repeating formulas of virtue while the other two bid her go hang herself, and are increasingly noisy and offensive, until at last their ruler is exhausted, gives up, and surrenders. Thank you very much.